So this is a tutorial about making a Google form header in Canva. So I'm logging into Canva right now, and this Canva account is free. So all the things I'm doing today, you can do with a free account, but I highly recommend getting a pro or nonprofit or education account if you're eligible for any of those. So when I log into Canva, generally I find it always takes me to templates, which is fine. But you might want to get back to your own projects, which would be over here on the left. We would click on the home. You might have organized your projects into projects. So you can always change where you want to get to here, but you're going to land in the templates area for today. That's totally fine. I want to make a Google form header. So if you've ever made a Google form, you can decorate the top of your form with something, and often you'll just use something that comes with forms. But this is kind of a nice way to personalize it. What is lovely with Canva, I think the reason I come to Canva mostly is because of the pre-sized things. So it knows the dimensions for a form header, and I don't have to worry about it, and I can just make sure that everything I want to show is going to fit inside that space. So I typed in Google Form header. This is also the same dimensions as a classroom header, so you could use it in Google Classroom as well. As I mentioned, I'm using a free account. That means that I do not have access. I cannot download without a watermark the premium content. It will let me go in and play with it, which is tricky. So you can certainly play around if you want to, but if you really wanted to make one that you could download and use without having a giant watermark on it, you're going to want to look for one of these that doesn't have a crown that kind of does the job for you. So we're going to scroll down. I want to make a survey or a form about about a computer class. So I'm going to look for something that kind of fits that idea that doesn't have a crown on it. So I'm scrolling down a little further. Um, this is a very nice one, right? Let's try that one. So we're going to click on the welcome one. It doesn't have a little crown, so we're going to click on that. Once you click on one, you will see that it will think, okay, you like that kind of style, so here are a bunch more in the same style. So that also can be helpful. If you don't see something exactly that you want, but you're interested in that kind of style, click on one and you'll get here. You haven't made any decisions yet. You're just going to get more narrowed view to help you find something. So I'm actually good sticking with this one. Um, I'm going to go ahead and say customize this template. So it's going to take a moment. Some things I see already, right? I can lock my design, I can duplicate. So you could make multiple form headers on the same document and then download them separately. Um, if you duplicate, you're going to have a duplication of this whole page, of this whole design. If you do an add page, you will get a new space that is still this dimensions that you could put whatever you want to put in there. Okay, so I'm looking at this. Right now, I don't see any ribbons or control panels or anything like that. Once I click on this is going to be writing, I believe. Once I click on an element, first, a couple things happen, right? We have our purple line that tells me which thing I'm editing. As I scroll over this, I can see that each of these the white squares are also elements because they get a purple line around them. Anything with a purple line around it, I can do stuff too, right? But right now, the thing that I've really clicked on that I'm not just scrolling over is a text box. And when I'm clicked in a text box, this is the ribbon I will see. Um, Actually, that's not true. This is not a text box. This is an element. And the way I know that is that I don't see anything up here that lets me change the size of the font or the font that we're using. So this is an element. I do see that I can change the colors. So if I don't really love this pink, I could change the pink by clicking on the pink. And anything I change this pink to, anything here that's that color will change. So say I don't want this pink, I would like red, right? So now all the stuff that was pink was red. Um, I also want to make it a little smaller. And I'm gonna put this up here. And now I am gonna add a text box because I want to say welcome to computer class, right? So I'm gonna click out of there. Oops. And I'm gonna go over here. So elements are visual images, and there's lots and lots of options in there, right? What I want to do now is text. So I'm going to click on the text area, and I just want to add a text box. Now you can use their AI if you were, for this purpose, I don't see a lot of use for that, but if you were writing a document or quiz questions or something like that, you might want to get Magic Write involved. In this case, I'm just going to do add a text box. It's tiny, right? You can see it there. I'm going to make it bigger so it's a little easier to see. Now, um, I just said that I made it bigger so it's easier to see. Actually, oops, it went away there. It's hard to see again. Actually, if you're trying to make things bigger so you can see them while you're editing them, come down to the bottom here where you have like a little controller that just magnifies what you're looking at. The dimensions will stay the same when you print it out or save it, but it allows you to kind of zoom in to see what's happening. Okay, so I want this. So now I'm going to change the font. You do have some um, apps down here that can change the writing style to something that you really couldn't do yourselves. There's also effects, which allow you to quickly add these kinds of effects to your writing, or you can come down here and find some crazy font stuff that might be fun, like if I do this. Um, And then this is also where you can, is it going to let me do it? I don't see that now. So usually, yes, here it is, the curving. So if you want to make curved text, you click on this and now you get to control the curve. Is it downward curve? If you drag it this way, it's an upward curve. Um, I've used this a lot, like making circle stickers and things like that. You can also control a little bit more finely by just doing these uh, pluses and minuses here. Um, I don't need it, so I'm just going to get rid of that, but just know that it's there. And I'm going to make this a lot bigger. So one way I can make text bigger is I can drag diagonally, and just like any other element, it will be made larger. I can also do it from up here. So this is the font size. I can click the plus or the minus to fit it where I want to. And then I want to drag it back. And as I get towards the middle there, you see that little purple line that came up to show me that I was centered. And I'm going to change this blue to that red that we were using. And then maybe I want that gray. Can I control the gray? Let's go back to our effects. Just think about making that gray into this yellow. All right, let's go with that. And I'm going to type in here. So again, with a text box, there are two different things that are happening, right? One is the box itself, which we use to make it large, make all the writing larger by dragging. And that's also what I can move around. Then there's also editing inside the text box. So when I'm just moving it around, you see that I get those arrows, the four-way arrows, or I just have the arrow pointer. If I click inside the box again, I get the cursor that we're used to seeing when we're changing the actual writing. So now everything is highlighted in here. I can just start typing. If I start typing now, it'll delete everything that's there and start putting in the stuff I'm adding. If I want to not do it that way, but just want to come in here, for example, and make this a capital P, I could do it that way, right? In this case, I do actually want to start from scratch. So, oh, it's not going to let me do it. There we go. Whole thing. So welcome to, actually, I'm going to do that differently. Computer class. Let's look at our effects again. We might want to use a slightly different thing because I don't think it's going to let me. Oh, yes, it is. So back in the effects box, I can change that outline, and I want to change that outline to, let's try that yellow. Oh, we did the yellow already. Let's try the red. Yay, I like that. Okay, good. So we're happier with that. Um, and I want to make that bigger. And maybe make this a little smaller. And maybe welcome, well, it can't be curved because it's an element. Never mind. And then I need to add a little 2 in there. All right, so I'm going to insert another box. Now, the reason I'm doing this as a separate box than the computer class is that way I can move things around. So I'm just going to write 2, and I want to make it a little bit bigger. Now, another thing you're seeing here is that the text box is much bigger than the writing, and that's fine. It's just kind of annoying. So I'm going to try and make this bigger. Oh, I'm going to make the box smaller. Sorry. Let's drag it up. It's a little easier to see. This is what I mean by sort of doing the magnification. I want to make this bigger. And I'm going to use the same effects that I was using over there. So I want to come over back to effects, click on this, and I want to change this to yellow. And then, oops, didn't like that. Sorry. Yellow and the effects to the red. Okay. And I also want to make that a lowercase t. And now we can move back out again. So what I was saying about the text box being really huge, I like to shrink it down again, but it's not required. Okay, and now I'm going to put that in the middle somewhere there, and maybe make it a little bit bigger. Okay. Um, and now I'm a little bit irritated by this, so I might actually want this to be writing so I could make it curved or something like that. Another thing I want to do is I want to put in a little photo of me because I want my students to know who I'm going to be. So I'm going to come over here to elements and I'm going to look for frames. And I'm going to pick this frame. It's going to stick it right there in the middle, but I can just drag it over here. If you have trouble with dragging, just go back out and then come to the thing that you want to work on. Sometimes when this gets plonked right there in the middle, there's like so many different things. And when you click on it, you might end up with the wrong thing and then you move it and you get very frustrated. So first of all, remember Control Z is undo. So if you did move the wrong thing and you're like, now it's not exactly where I want it to be, know that you can do a Control Z. You can also lock elements together. So if I have that one and this one, actually, I would do it under layers. Let's go to our layers. So layers is another, you don't have to worry about layers ever if you don't want to, but layers can help you if you're feeling frustrated by too many different things moving around. So I asked it to show me the layers. So these are all the layers. And in this reality, in this particular design, everything is its own layer. But if I want to move everything at the same time, I can combine them. So in this case, I have two and I have the computer class. These both are purple now. So when I move it, they will move together. If I want to make them bigger together. So they're still smaller and bigger, but when I pull them, there will be aspect ratio will be maintained for them. So know that that's an option to come and look at your layers. You can lock things together or group them. So these could be grouped now forever until I ungroup them, and that way every time I try to move them, they will be together. I can duplicate them. I can lock them so that they don't move. If I move everything else around them, they don't move. So there's some things you can do to help make it feel a little less chaotic. And this also shows you how deep, these different tools on the sides and on the toolbar give you lots of options. So don't try clicking around. You can't hurt anything. You can always start over again. You can, it's all good. So Control Z is also your friend. Okay, so I actually want to make that a little smaller. Got a little squished at the bottom there. I'm gonna bring that back over. Okay. Okay, so now I was working on my frame. So this is my frame, and I want to put my face in here. And I know that I've already uploaded my face. So when I go over here, I have uploads. If you don't have the image that you already want to use, you can always upload it here. And you can record yourself, and you can upload videos and designs and folders and all kinds of other things. But once you have the stuff here, you can always come back to it. So it's like handy to have uh, your logo, or maybe you're going to have like a little Bitmoji version of yourself or whatever it is. My cat, right, could be in there. Let's do the cat. That's fun. Okay, so I'm going to click on the cat now, and it's just going to plonk it. The default is always in the middle of everything, which we've already seen is a little scary. It is the thing that is highlighted right now. So if I am just bold and go in and click, it is going to be the thing that gets moved. So just calmly know that. And now I'm going to drag it. All I'm doing is dragging. So I have clicked on it, left click, and I'm dragging it over. And as I drag it over that frame, it will actually edit it into that, crop it into that frame. And we can make this guy bigger. You can't, I don't know, I guess I've never gone in to try to edit like how big the photo is. Let's see if I can do that. Yeah. So if you double click on it, you get back to the image. And now I can make the photo smaller, maybe. Doesn't seem like it wants me to do that. No. So maybe if I'd done that outside of it, let's try that. Control Z, let's say done. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Okay, so now if I take this image and I wanted to make it so that it's bigger, and now I bring it over there. Nope, it's still going to keep it. So it's keeping it the same size as it came in. And I can make this bigger. Okay. All right, so we have basically what I want. I'm going to move this guy over just so these guys are sort of all centered. And you see as I scroll, as I move it, it gives me those little measurement bars on each side. So I kind of know that I've equalized myself between things. Okay. And notice that when I'm in an element, this is the toolbar I see. When I'm in a text box, this is the toolbar I see. This is the same thing as an element, but we have things like we could put a line around things. Right now, it's transparent, but I could put like a circle around it if I wanted to, or something like that. Animation is how you'd have this kind of bounce in, right? Like if I clicked on animate, it could, as you scroll over these options, it'll do the different options. Again, I don't do a lot of this stuff, right? So for the purposes of our educational situations, that cognitive overload. You don't want to have too many bells and whistles moving around. And for the sake of what I'm doing here, I just want to be able to download this now and put it up on my form. So once you're happy, first of all, I'd come back and make sure that it has a name up here that makes sense, that you'll remember what it is, because that's helpful. So this is the welcome header. And I'm also going, so I can now, if I want to download it, there are a couple things you can do. I think under edit, no. Um, Under file over here, I can, there's printing, there's download, so you can do it from over here if you want to as well. But generally, I go to the share button. The share button would allow me to share it with people. So I could share it with people so they can help co-edit with me. I would do that by putting in their email address here. I'd have to add them to you might have to add them to your team. You'd need to change the access. So anyone with the link. And this would give people access to come in and be a co-editor with you, or at least view it and give you their opinion. If it's something you want to give people, like later on, we'll see some other tools that quizzes or something that you want to give students to use themselves, then you can grab a custom link or get a link that they can go in and view. So here you get to choose what kind of access people have, right? Edit, comment, or view. What we want to do is download it. Print with Canva, you would be ordering it from them. I've done that when I made business cards in Canva. You could just have them make your business cards for you. You can get a public link. You can send it off to social media. Anyway, so we want to do download. The default is always PNG. We can't change the size. That is, again, a premium ability. We can't change any of these other things because those are all premium abilities. PNG is fine. I often use JPEG just because I know JPEG is accepted by all the things I use. Maybe the size of the file is a bit better. I don't know. But you have several options there. If you are making something with a transparent background, you do need to keep it in PNG. If it's a document, maybe a PDF is better, but this is an image for me, so that's totally fine. If you're making a GIF, MP4, PowerPoint, right? So you have all these different options. So we're going to stay with our JPEG, and we're going to click download. And it should immediately start to download it, and it's going to go wherever your default for downloads is. On my Chrome, I get a little thing up here, so I could open it that way. I also know that everything goes into my download folder, so then I can go find that. So when I have my form, then I can just upload it into my form. So those are the very most basic aspects of creating a document or some sort of design. And we use specifically this Google header, Google form header. Go in and play. I do think that it's good to have a clear task because otherwise it's overwhelming. Like, why would I do this versus this? So either creating a task for yourself, like I'm going to make a newsletter for my family, or I'm going to create a quiz about our vacation, or have something like that and go in and try and make those things. And I think that will help you explore tools that maybe you haven't tried yet. That's certainly how I've found the things that were useful for me in Canva. All right. Thank you very much.